That's right guys, it's finally here, the Prednisolone Diaries Part 2! So I'm sure that many of you have seen that on my channel I already have a Prednisolone diary video, which was the introduction that I made, oh my goodness, 18 months ago now I think it was. And seeing how many views and how many comments and how many interactions I've got in this video, I'm so ashamed I haven't made a part 2 or a second part to it. So I'm going to rectify that today and bring you part 2 of my life kind of thing with Prednisolone. And I'm going to be focusing on 3 things that I've actually done wrong whilst taking Prednisolone. So let me start by taking you way back to when it all began. So all the way back in the summer of 2008, I was diagnosed with lupus. I had no idea what lupus was, no idea how to treat it, and no idea how it would literally rule my life for the next 10 years. As part of my treatment, I had to start taking Prednisolone steroids. I had no idea what they were, I didn't know what effect they had, and I didn't really know what to expect. Fast forward 3 years after taking my first dose, I had gone from a 70 kilogram, super fit and healthy, semi-professional footballer to this overweight, mentally negative person. And it was all because of the Prednisolone that I was taking. So to really understand what was happening and why I was now feeling like this completely different person, I thought, you know what, I need to do some more research and I really need to understand exactly what Prednisolone is. So for the first thing that I've done wrong whilst taking Prednisolone is not knowing as much about it as I probably should have. So if you find yourself in the same situation that I was and you've just started taking Prednisolone and you don't know much about it, my advice to you is definitely research, 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 research. Learn as much as you can about it. Because the more you know and the more that you understand, the more that you can control what happens to your body and the more that you control kind of the negatives and the positives that come out of taking Prednisolone. If you're still in this phase of research and understanding Prednisolone, then hopefully you guys will take a look at my actual Prednisolone video that I've made in the past. It has tons of information about exactly what it is and what it does to our bodies and how it affects us. And I'll leave a link to that video down in the description below. So if that's one of the reasons why you've clicked on this video today, then great and welcome. And I hope that the information that I'm giving to you and the experience that I'm sharing does go some way into helping you with your own Prednisolone story. So now rewinding the clock once more, I'm now back at university. I've moved out, so I'm living on campus, and it was time for me to get my life turned around and back on track. So after doing all the research that I thought was possible and reading tons of articles and tons of scientific literature, I asked all the questions that I possibly could to my consultants and my doctors. I finally thought I knew enough about Prednisolone and enough that I thought I could then make a plan to combat these negative side effects. So my plan was made and it was finally up to me now to control the effects of the Prednisolone and to improve all the other negative side effects that were happening. Sticking to the plan and waiting to see the benefits that it would reap took a lot of mental strength, a lot of patience as well. And that moves us on nicely to the second thing that I believed I've done wrong in the past whilst taking Prednisolone, and that's believing that it wouldn't affect me, almost underestimating Prednisolone. So I'm a big believer in learning from your mistakes, and one mistake that I made in the past was, like I said, underestimating Prednisolone, underestimating how it would actually affect me and thinking, do you know what, I'm young, I'm fit, I'm healthy, it won't affect me as bad as what I'm being told or the stories that I've read. And that was definitely not the case. It really affected me. So as I've already mentioned, I put on tons of weight when I was younger. I completely changed sort of the person who I was. I didn't want to be around anyone, I didn't want to socialize with anyone. And it put me into a really, really bad mood. Now, on my second sort of dose of Prednisolone, this is since my transplant, I've learned from those mistakes and I'm trying to put them right. So my advice to you is don't underestimate Prednisolone. It's true, all the negative side effects that have been written about and researched about happen. They happen to all of us. The weight gain, the moon face, the bad mood swings, all of them. It's highly, highly likely it will happen to you. So do your research, as I've said, and understand that you will be affected by it. Moving on to the last thing that I think I could have done better or that I've done wrong or whilst taking prednisolone in the past, is I thought there was nothing I could do about it. There were so many articles and so many pieces of information out there about these negative side effects. It just felt like, well, they're just going to happen then, and once they've happened, I can't compete with that. That's definitely not the case. So going back to when I was younger, I had now done the research, implemented this plan, and it started to show results, guys. It really, really did. Knowing what I knew about prednisolone then and how my mindset had changed, it proved to me that, you know what, we don't just have to sit there all day or mope around all day thinking, oh, I'm taking these steroids and they're making me feel rubbish, because as true as that is, you still have the power and the control and the mental capacity to do something about it. And that's definitely something that I learned along my first prednisolone journey. It's you can do something about it. Now, I know personally for me at the time, like I said, I was a very young 21-year-old footballer, and I maybe had a few more avenues to go down to do exercise or to change my diet or to look for a better way of doing things. And just because you're not that age or not that type or not that person, make your own plan, guys. Make it personable to you. Make it work for you. I know that I'm not going into much detail today about what my plan is, because that is coming on another story, I promise. But this video is just to highlight the things I know I've done wrong, and I hope you won't do them wrong as well. So I just want to end this video on a bit of a personal note, just to highlight and maybe a bit more about my prednisolone journey. I had prednisolone as a teenager when I was first diagnosed with lupus, and I was on prednisolone for maybe 5 or 6 years, I think it was. And this plan and this new mindset that I'm talking about, I implemented it and I managed to get off my steroids. So it definitely can work. And like I said, I will share my plans with you in another video, because it's something that I definitely think will work for all of us. And now I'm currently taking prednisolone steroids again since my transplant started to show signs of rejection in the summer of 2019. So it's nearly been 2 years again since I've had prednisolone, and the same thing's happened again, guys. I've almost made the same mistakes, I would say, because I was about 75 kilos when I first started taking them after my rejection, and I'm now back up to 90 kilos, 85 kilos. And I know that it's not all the same mistakes that I made last time, but I am making some of the mistakes because sometimes it's hard. You know, we have hard days. Whether you're suffering from just chronic kidney disease, or you're a transplant patient like I am, or even if you're just taking prednisolone steroids to control something else that's happening, they end up giving you bad days. You can't be your best all of the time. And that's something that I think I've learned a lot more this time around, that just don't be so hard on yourselves. That's what I'm trying to do anyway. So that is it for this Prednisolone Diaries, guys. I hope it was helpful. I'm going to try and end this video very quickly before the light leaves us, because I've been recording this at the completely wrong time of the day, but it should be fine. Tune in for the next one whenever it comes out. Hopefully it will come out soon for you. If you did like it, hit that like button for me. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. And if you really want to hear from me more, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. And you can find me on Facebook as well somewhere. I'll leave all the links down there for you to follow. So thanks a lot, guys, and see you next time. Well, I did tell you guys it was going to get dark. Mark, these jokes, terrible.